Surprise, surprise, the Wrath of Dragon New Year's TURs are EZA. How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We got another Dokkan Battle video for you here today. We have the EZA announcement for the Super Saiyan 3 Goku and the Int Hirudegarn, the 2024 New Year's TURs. And in this video, we're going to break down everything you need to know about these EZAs, even going over a little bit of stats and whatnot. These guys should be dropping along with the new Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Could be a day or so off from the release, but seeing as they are announcing it now, it's very likely that they could show up at the same time as the banners when the new Goku releases. So regardless, let's go ahead and let's jump on into the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So no change to his leader skill. I always wish they would update the leader skills with these new EZAs, especially now that we're in the 220. They do it with yellow coins. I don't see any reason why not to do it with starting to do it with Dokkan Fest TURs, but is what it is. Now, he has key 3, attack defense 250%, high chance of performing a critical hit, high chance of evading enemies' attack, so that's 50% on each of those, and has a additional attack that has a 70% chance of becoming a super attack. When receiving an attack, he gets 200% defense. When attacking with 12 or more ki, he gets 300% attack and 200% defense. As the second or third attacker in the turn, he gets 259% attack, wouldn't be a Goku without that, and defense, as well as a 20% chance of performing a critical hit and a 30% chance of evading an attack. So more or less, as the second or third attacker in turn, he has 80% chance to dodge. When HP is 70% or less, he gets an additional attack 259% and 50% crits. And when receiving an unarmed super attack, he can nullify it, which is really helpful, right? There's a lot of bosses here that can be nullified with that. So, right, Triku, for example, the first phase of the new Cell Max fight, a potential Daima Super Saiyan 4 LR, right? Like if they use the LR for the new fight for one of the phases, we'd be able to counter him. Same with Daima Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. If they do that for the new fight, we are getting a new fight here in the red zones, right? It does look like it's the mini versions, but if they add the adult versions as like a later phase in the fight, he'd be able to counter it. So that's very helpful. On his super attack effect, it is greatly raising attack and defense for the turn, causing much damage. Now, he is a standby character. His standby can be activated. Let's see if we scroll down here, 70% or less. So, right, you're going on the turn that you can activate that. You'll also have this 70% HP buff here. The 259% attack. So you can make a choice, stay at 70% and take advantage of this, or use the 70% and go into standby. Now, if you do go into standby, you will be unable to attack. You get 359% attack defense, give all allies key 3 and attack defense 59%, and a scouter effect, along with a 70% chance to evade enemy's attack. When receiving an attack, he gets 200% defense. Before receiving an attack within the turn, he has 59% damage reduction. For 4 turns from his entry turn, he has attack defense 259% and an additional 20% chance of evasion. When 70% or less, he gets 259% attack, chance of evading enemy's attack 20%. And when the finish skill is activated, he gets an additional 859% attack and a guaranteed evasion in his next attacking turn. Or not in the next attacking turn, but like within the turn, because you use this and then he goes back into regular Goku. So he'll have evasion after he counters, right? So if he counters, you have guaranteed evasion for the rest of that turn. So now the thing with this is, right, you'll notice there seems to be lacking crit. And I do want to point out that on his finish skill, he actually does have guaranteed crit on his finish skill here. So if you guys just kind of see that right here, right, performs a critical hit on that finish skill when it is activated. And it can be activated when he counters. And the counter can be any thing. It counters any attack. It doesn't have to specifically be unarmed attack. So that is very nice. So taking a look at some stats though here for him, right? When in standby, obviously nothing too crazy, right? When he's in the standby, 690% start of turn, or 690k start of turn. 2 million defense, but that if you're in slot 1, that's with 59% damage reduction. But this is also with essentially 100% evasion for the turn. Because remember, you're 70% HP when you are entering into the standby, which means you have this buff. And you have his 4 turns 20%, so that's 40% right there. On top of a great chance of evasion, that's over 100%. So you'll have guaranteed dodge. So this defense really doesn't matter unless you're planning on extending that 4 turns of the standby. Now, when he is in base form, which you're going to be in most of the time, we're talking, up to 550k in slot 2 or 3, because that's where you're going to be having him mostly. When receiving an attack, it does dump up to 1.6 and 6.8 million after 3 super attacks, assuming you have additionals built into them. Now, with that said, right, 6.8 is with that 80% chance to dodge more often than not. So this is going to live most normals, or you're going to dodge just about everything else. Now, assuming you run him on Super Saiyan 3 Goku's team with that added defense from his active skill, he actually jumps to 8.9 million, which does protect him from some supers. So that's very helpful. Although, I mean, he's still going to need to dodge a lot of the major ones. So still pretty good though, both offensively and defensively. I think he's going to be much better offensively than he was before, even outside of the counter turn. So this should be really pretty fun to use. So that takes us to the Hirudegarn, right? Hirudegarn is a transformation character, so we got to talk about 2 phases here, right? So when he starts in his base form, he does have that entrance animation, no conditions to it. It gives him key 4 attack defense, 200% for 5 turns, and a great chance of performing a critical hit. He has attack defense 250% and a 70% chance to evade enemies' attack. If you have another story figures or movie bosses, he has an additional 15% for 4 turns and an additional damage reduction rate for 60% for 1 turn. So, right, for your first 4 turns, you've got essentially 85% chance to dodge, and this is helpful when he's also stacking defense, right? He gets 250% when attacking, and after receiving or evading an attack, he has a guaranteed additional super attack. He does get 50% defense up to 150% for every attack evaded. So you really want to push that evasion where you can. He does greatly raise defense on his super attack effect. So the more you get defense stacked here, the better. He is a character that you will probably leave in base form until you are ready to transform him, right? Because you want to stack up that defense as much as you can. But however, it will be kind of tricky looking here because, right, you do lose a lot of offense and defense after that first 5 turns. So something to be aware of. Now, with that said, once you do transform, and his transformation condition is pretty standard, 70% or less starting from the 3rd turn or from the 6th turn. So, I mean, very, very easy to pull off. Once he is transformed, though, he gets a little crazy, right? He has 300% attack and defense, additional attack that has a 70% chance to become a super, 70% chance to evade enemies' attack, 70% chance to perform a critical hit. With movie bosses or story figure on the same turn, he gets effective against all types, chance of evading enemies' attack 15% for 4 turns, and an additional 250% when attacking. Now, with that, back up a second, right? So for his first 4 turns, he's got 85%. First 4 turns of the transformation, he's got 85% chance to dodge. And we're going to come back to that in a second. When receiving an attack, he gets defense on 150%. As the first attacker, he gets an additional 150% attack and defense. And after evading, he has a guaranteed additional attack. For every attack evaded, he gets a chance for a critical hit and chance of evading within the turn, 10%. So think about that on that evasion skill here. He's got 85% for the first 4 turns. Dodge once, you're at 95%. Dodge twice, you're at 100%, right? Now, even better than that, after that third dodge, he has guaranteed dodge on his next attacking turn. So for the first 4 turns, it is essentially impossible, unless you get really lucky and hit that 5%, it is nearly impossible after the second attack to get after the second attack to get hit with this guy for the first 4 turns. So that's really helpful. And that's not even factoring the fact that he's probably got some pretty defense if you let him stack up in base. Now, he is no longer stacking once transformed, instead only stacking attack for 3 turns, which can be helpful. And he also has some lowering attack and defense, so that's helpful. So taking a look at some of the calcs here, right, for Hirudegarn. So let's look at in his base form, 600k start a turn, after 3 successful dodges, and his super attacks, he's got 4.1 million. And again, that is with that evasion going on there. After turn 3, with 3 super attack stacks, he's got 6.6 million, because remember, he is stacking. And once transformed, right, assuming the same, right, so assuming you've done those 6 attacks, basically, start of turn or 5 attacks rather, start of turn is 1.7 mil. If you put them in slot 1, you've got an additional 2.3 mil, right? And again, 95% chance to evade here. When receiving an attack, 5.8 mil, and then up to 9 million defense after the 4th super attack effect. And again, that assumes 5 stacks. If you had continued stacking beyond that, right, and say a longer event, this number is going to be significantly higher. And again, this is all while having 4 turns of near invincibility, because every 3 dodges, you get a guaranteed evasion on the next attacking turn. So he's actually kind of crazy. There's only one problem with him, and that is his lead. While a decent EZA, you've basically only got these guys to work with for his leads, right? His 220s are Frieza, Cell Max, Goku, and Beerus. So I don't foresee him sliding well onto the Goku's lead. He's also on the new Goku's lead for that matter, right? I don't see him sliding very well onto this team. I could see you setting up a team with Golden Frieza and running a friend Cell Max, but it does seem like he is designed for Cell Max. That is really what I'm foreseeing here. Although you could probably make him work on a Beerus setup, especially because Beerus also has that storied figures going on. But this is going to be the major problem, is like if you don't have Cell Max or Beerus, these are pretty much your only 2 options as lead, which, I mean, as we've seen now with the new setups, Tech Golden Frieza isn't too bad. Obviously, Goku is in a much better place in terms of leads, right? He's got all of these guys to work with for his 220 leads, right? The Gohan, the Vegito, Goku, AGL Gohan, Daima Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, Majin Vegeta. You're probably not running on him, but Beast Gohan's team, right? So, and then the new Super Saiyan 3 Goku's team. So, I mean, he's probably not going to have that much issue finding a slot on a team. Being a Goku, being a Super Saiyan 3 Goku, he's going to slide right into a lot of teams. So, these guys seem really fun. I'm really excited to test them out, especially in the new Daima Red Zone, especially because it seems like it's going to be probably very much catered to the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and the EZA variant as well. I'd be curious to see how Hirudegarn fits into that, because he's definitely going to want to be in longer fights, and these don't seem like they're going to be that. So it'll be interesting. So, guys, that is it for our video. That is the EZAs for the STR Dragon Fist Goku and the Int Hirudegarn. If you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know, what do you think of these EZAs? Honestly, I think they look pretty good. They're not going to be par for the course for New Year's TUR EZAs. Nothing too insane, but they seem like decent options on their teams. Hirudegarn probably a little bit less so, just because one, Cellmax's team is kind of stacked right now. Although the metal cooler variant of his team does kind of work against him, so maybe having another option that lets you not rely as heavily on metal cooler could be helpful for that team. Either way, let us know what you think in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching and aloha.